70% of Tennessee's 8th graders are not making the grade when it comes to reading.
I just don't want the system to fail my daughter like they failed me.
Why those who work with children say things are actually worse than you think.
Thousands of letters warning of jail time and fines for illegally voting. Why Tennessee election leaders say this isn't about intimidation.
Taxpayers deserve a whole lot better answers than they're getting.
Plus, arrest after arrest in and around WeGo buses. Why riders tell us they're not buying the promise of increased security. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with the weather and Mother Nature's rage. Here it comes. This is video of a powerful line of thunderstorms sweeping through the downtown area a few hours ago. You see the clouds just swallow our City View Office Park camera as the winds on the leading edge of this storm topped 60 miles an hour.
Well, this is another time-lapse video showing a shelf cloud loaded with rain sweeping across Sumner County. This was shot by our friend Jared Ambrose in Castilian Springs, just east of Gallatin. And check this out, East Nashville. Powerful storms knocked down some trees. This one is on Porter Road, partially blocking traffic here. Just a few blocks away, another tree fell on a power line. That's what you're seeing here. It didn't knock out service for the folks who live nearby, but you saw NES crews were out there trying to remove the debris. And it was certainly quite a couple of hours, Katie, raging through. That was quite the storm.
Pretty intense, wasn't it? We had some of those winds move through, as you mentioned, dropping some heavy rain too. The good news, it's all over.
That's what we like to hear.
That's what we like to hear. That's right. We will continue to see some showers around for the evening, as you can see here on the radar, but the severe threat is over, which is why we are no longer in our code red mode. Where we're finding some of the more intense rainfall, a few rumbles of thunder now pushing out of Middle Tennessee toward East Tennessee, but still picking up some decent rainfall through Jamestown up towards Byrdstown, and even here in Nashville, a few light showers left over for us. We take a look at what we can expect for the remainder of the evening. Again, the showers remain. The storms have cleared out, and that will be the case throughout the evening hours here. You can even see cloudy sky from our South Nashville camera, and wider view shows where the front is actually situated back here. So once the front passes through, we are left with a slow decrease of cloud cover, but that in turn will actually give us a pretty nice day on tap for Thursday. Still looking rainy through downtown on Broadway, at least wet on the roadways, and a few light showers continue for us with temperatures hovering in those mid-70s. If anything, it has cooled us down a little bit. 72 for the overnight here in Nashville, Columbia around 70, and Clarksville at 70 as well. We'll talk more about these storms. We've got some pictures and more interesting video to share with you. I've been talking with a lot of folks on social media about what they thought they saw was a tornado today. It in fact was not. It was something very different and something we don't see very often here. We'll talk about that coming up.
Thank you, Katie. Election integrity, a big issue ahead of the presidential election in November. Tennessee Secretary of State Trey Hargett recently sent 14,000 letters saying non-citizens who vote here will be prosecuted, and it's not an idle threat. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar reporting from the Capitol tonight, and she has more on the letters and the pushback that comes with it.
These letters have people across the state talking. Some went to naturalized citizens, some of who feel like it's an effort to keep them from voting. But state and local election officials say that's not the intent.
I would not say it's targeted because we do this match. The state sends us a list of names on a fairly regular basis.
Nashville election administrator Jeff Roberts says it's about voter security and ensuring no one votes who isn't supposed to. Turgut Ovank is one of the naturalized citizens who received the letter. He feels the letter could be a deterrent to voting, especially because of the threat of fines or jail time.
I can absolutely see many naturalized citizens getting very intimidated and very scared by this.
But how often are people in Tennessee prosecuted for illegal voting? These numbers from the Tennessee Administrative Office of the Courts show from 2017 to 2022, there were 24 convictions and 2 people cited for misdemeanors.
You know, in Davidson County, I'm not aware of anyone being prosecuted in my tenure.
The conservative Heritage Foundation ranks Tennessee tops in the nation for election integrity. Jeff Roberts says people who received one of these letters just need to do what's being asked to ensure a fair election.
Jeff Roberts says that he's seen a number of people stop by his office in downtown to drop documentation off, just to prove that people are actually receiving these letters and listening and coming through with it. Reporting live here in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. We want to know what our viewers think. Are you concerned about election integrity in Tennessee? 318 people voting and a little over 58% say yes, it's something I'm worried about. But a large number as well, almost 42% say no, it's not something I'm concerned about. Polls live right now. We'd love for you to weigh in as well. To do that, just scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen. It will link you to our X poll, and we'll update these results for you coming up tonight on Fox 17 News at 10.
I just don't want the system to fail my daughter like they failed me.
In Crisis in the Classroom tonight, Tennessee State test scores painting a bleak picture. 71% of 8th graders are not proficient in reading, and 66% of 8th graders not on level when it comes to math. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from North Nashville after parents tell her that they're worried that their teens are not ready for high school.
Yes, Megan. Well, we spoke with a math tutor today who says that each year students are falling more and more behind, and he doesn't believe that the schools have the resources that we need to ever catch up. Tiana Ray has a daughter that's an incoming 9th grader. Ray says her daughter is below average in both reading and math.
I just feel like that she's not ready to really start high school. The system is just pushing them grade to grade, thinking that these children are ready, and they're not.
Ray explains she's tried to get her daughter tutoring, but she says their school tells her they have to pay for it.
When they try to get help from the teachers, they're not getting that support. So there's basically we have a system failure.
Fox 17 News also spoke with Alex Guppy, who owns several mathnasiums across the country, including 5 in the Nashville area. Mathnasium is a math tutoring business. Guppy emphasizes the gap is widening significantly, which shows with recent TCAP results stating 8th graders are reading at a 29% proficiency rate.
In the past, we were helping 8th graders in 8th grade math with 6th grade skills. And now we're helping 8th graders with 8th grade math with 4th grade skills.
Guppy believes the pandemic was a big factor because he explains in math, when children fall behind on the fundamentals, it impacts the rest of their math career. Guppy says schools need more funding and resources to address these alarming numbers. TCAP results also show 8th graders are 34% proficient in math.
In respect to the reading, I think that starts at a much earlier time. We're meeting a lot of 3rd and 4th graders that we can't teach them math because they don't know how to read anything.
Guppy says this is another critical skill to have earlier on. And Guppy says with the teacher-student ratio nowadays, and also with people just being at such different levels inside the classroom with both math and reading, he says it's almost impossible to teach and tutor nowadays. Reporting live from North Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage, earlier in the week we told you about the disappointing 4th grade TCAP scores in Tennessee. Less than half of Tennessee 4th graders, 46%, are proficient at reading. This is according to the results of the very latest TCAP, which we just got a hold of. The number is up 2% from last year. In a separate study, though, the Kids Count report, painting an even more bleak picture, it found that 70% of Tennessee 4th graders are not proficient in reading. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to you, our viewer, to expose problems in our schools at all levels and to look for solutions. If you have a story you think we should be covering, send an email to news@fox17.com, or you can phone our tip line as well. That number at the bottom of your screen, 615-266-4149.
Taxpayers deserve a whole lot better answers than they're getting.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, Fox 17 News doing even more digging into safety issues surrounding crime on We Go buses. Just this week, a man accused of waving a gun and threatening a woman According to court documents, that man was staring at a woman on a WeGo bus, and she looked back at him. That's when she said that he threatened her while waving a revolver around. That comes on the heels of a string of violent crimes happening on WeGo property all in the past month. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell wants to spend nearly $7 billion improving transportation here in Music City, but some advocates say that we need to fix the problems that already exist before expanding transit centers.
Do you really think people are going to be safe riding a bus at 2 a.m. down Nolensville Road? Hell no, they're not. They're going to need 2 or 3 officers sitting on the bus if people expect to be safe.
Last week, we took those concerns right to Mayor O'Connell, and here's what he had to say.
The transportation improvement program we've proposed actually has built into it security funding that will increase security presence.
The mayor's proposed improvement plan could be in front of voters on this November ballot. For more on this proposed plan, go to our website, fox17.com, and search Proposed Transit Plan.
Up next, a topic of fierce debate, whether to provide gender-affirming care to minors. It's illegal in Tennessee, but will our law stand?
Making news across the nation, 23 states, including Tennessee, have adopted laws that ban or limit transgender-affirming care for minors. Our governor says Tennessee will limit that type of care for our state's children. The argument now heads to the U.S. Supreme Court, where it will hear an appeal from the Biden administration seeking to block state bans. Fox 17 News' Madeline Nolan has the latest look at both sides on the issue.
Advocates of these laws believe that minors are not mature enough to undertake such major changes, while those who support gender-affirming care believe that it can be life-saving for patients experiencing gender dysphoria. But what is gender-affirming care? Well, it has multiple different components for the youth. Some include behavioral and psychological care, but what state laws take aim at is usually medical treatments, hormones, or puberty blockers that induce traits aligned with the patient's gender identity, along with surgeries that are rare among young people. Darren Johnson with the Tennessee Equality Project believes taking away this right to care hurts patients, especially those with identity issues.
The biggest concern is the struggle that it causes when one is having any type of identity issue. We realize that that's a difficult thing to have to endure. And what these medications allow is for children, young adults, people like me, to be able to feel at home in our own bodies.
The fight for care has been a back-and-forth argument for years. After signing the bill back in 2023, Governor Bill Lee had this to say: Tennessee is committed to protecting children from permanent life-altering decisions. This is a federal overreach at its worst, and we work with the Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti, to push back in court and stand up for children. The U.S. Supreme Court won't hear these arguments until next fall. In the studio, Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Repeat offenders released without bond only to commit worse crimes. It's an issue that Fox 17 News has been tracking for months now. After our reporting, some changes are on the way. Among them, Nashville judges are revamping the bond process, and new laws are going into effect the 1st of July to help address this. Don't miss Dennis Ferrier's investigation tomorrow night on Fox 17 News at 9. Katie?
Scott, we start with a really neat video here. This is a gustnado that forms, you can see right kind of off the truck there, off in the distance. What looks to be a tornado, it is actually what we call a gustnado in the meteorology world. And I had a few people comment on the video when I posted it and said, I saw this, I was on I-40 and I thought it was a tornado. Again, you want to be looking where the 18-wheeler is, and you can actually see the little whirlwind here that is spinning about. This was shot by our friend Chris Jolly on I-40 near the airport, and it got a lot of folks' attention. This afternoon, you can actually see all of the brake lights there coming on, because I'm sure a lot of folks were startled by it. So I wanted to take the time to explain what a gustnado is. So a gustnado is not a tornado, but it sure does look like one, doesn't it? A gustnado forms from a thunderstorm downburst. So here's our thunderstorm, and you have winds coming out of the storm, and those winds then spread out at the surface. Sometimes they can create these little eddies on the edge of these storm clouds, and in this case today, we actually saw the spinning motion from what was left of that downburst wind here. It's not a tornado. Again, it's not connected to the cloud. So again, a tornado, it needs to be connected to the cloud. And of course, several other dynamics at play here. That is not the case with a gustnado, I should say. They are usually harmless. They're pretty brief, and we don't see them very often here in Middle Tennessee because we usually have so much rain, or we're so wet that we often don't see the dust or debris that's being lifted from the gustnado there. So very interesting video sent in today. I also saw quite a few pictures. Again, people wondering what that was, and that it was in fact a gustnado. The good news is the severe threat is over for us. We are clearing for Thursday. The unfortunate news is the heat will continue after a brief break tomorrow. So we walk you through future track. You can see clouds will try and hang on here for the overnight. May run into a stray shower or two very early, but will clear as we head towards the afternoon hours. And again, looking fairly dry with mainly sunny skies for Thursday. Saturday and Sunday will be our next chance for showers here, but a nice little break from the hot weather. Temperatures only in the mid to upper 80s, close to 90. It's still, however, going to feel quite humid. We'll talk more about the humidity and how that will actually play a role in our weather.
The Biden administration says illegal border crossings were down some 40% following the president's recent executive order earlier in the month to restrict asylum seekers.
And as Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins reports, the news comes following the murder of a 12-year-old in Texas. By the way, we want to hear from you. You can scan the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this story to weigh in.
The illegal Venezuelan migrants accused of murdering 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungare in Houston, Texas, appearing in court Tuesday. The judge saying he wants both to face justice here in the United States. The death penalty has not been ruled out.
This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened to her or any child.
Her mom calling for tighter borders.
We have to have more reinforcement when it comes to letting people in. This is not okay.
New Customs and Border Protection numbers reported by Fox News show so far for fiscal year 2024, 13,000 criminals have been caught at the border, compared with just over 4,000 criminals in 2019. Many of those recently apprehended were convicted of serious crimes like assault, battery, domestic violence, homicide, and sexual offenses. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas addressing concerns Wednesday.
The safety and security of the American public is indeed our highest priority.
The secretary pushing back when questioned about new reports that 400 individuals recently crossed illegally through ISIS-linked smuggling networks, raising concerns over national security. NBC News crediting the information to DHS officials.
That reporting is incorrect.
We spoke with Republican Congressman Randy Weber, who represents the outskirts of Houston, where Nungare died.
Like a lot of people, I'm just outraged at why this is allowed to keep going. Why the open border is not a priority for Joe Biden, I don't get it at all.
Democrats like Jim Costa from California agree changes must be made.
Border security is a problem, and it has been not only in the last 3 years, but I would submit to you for decades.
Where the two sides disagree is on how to solve the problem.
Voters continue to rank immigration and border security among the top issues. It's expected to be hotly discussed during the very first presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
During that story, we had a QR code linked up to this poll asking, are you concerned violent criminals are crossing the border? 635 people voting on this, 88.8% say yes, 11.2% say no.
Just ahead, a big story to tell. Looking ahead to the groundbreaking tomorrow for a new museum honoring.
An update now on a story that Fox 17 News has been tracking for weeks. A Davidson County man turning to Fox 17 News after he's seen several cases of flooding on his property. John Cripps says the issue is with the culvert, and tonight Cripps telling Fox 17 News that Metro Water went out to check on his property off of Bull Run Road. He says that they did promise to follow up in a couple of weeks.
Looking ahead to tomorrow and groundbreaking for the new Wings of Liberty Museum up at Fort Campbell. It will tell the story of the 101st Airborne Division and also pay tribute to all the men and the women in the other units that call the post home. Joining me now with more on this effort is retired Major General Brian Winsky, President and CEO of the Fort Campbell Historical Foundation. General, first of all, thank you for your service. And the 101st is legendary. I'm sure you spent time on the post, which is why you're doing this. They've got a great story to tell. Tell us about your plans for this museum, and I know there's a major fundraising effort underway in association with that too.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Yeah, we're building a 40,000 plus square foot museum. It's about 4 or 5 times larger than the current museum. That's to honor the history and legacy of the 101st 5th Special Forces Group and the 160th Special Ops Aviation Regiment. It's been a long time coming, but through the generosity of the state of Tennessee and the city of Clarksville and Montgomery County, we got some grants last year that bring us to where we are today, ready to break ground and start building this thing.
That's going to be good. Now, General, I think everybody associates the 101st, the Screaming Eagles, with Fort Campbell. You mentioned one of the other high-profile tenant units, which make news, too. They're going to be a part of this museum. Tell me how many of those there are and how that's going to figure in.
Yeah, it's the museum's really going to focus on the 101st, 5th Special Forces, and the 160th, as well as all the units that call Fort Campbell home. But those three in particular, they got an incredible history from, in the case of the 101st, World War II to present, in the case of 5th Group, Vietnam to present, in the case of the 160th, since the early 80s. They're great units. The chapters of their history books are filled with chapters of valor, courageous actions, incredible operations, and we want to highlight that and educate, honor, and inspire all who visit the museum through the histories of these great units.
You know, speaking of that, there's been a bunch of movies in the last 10 or 15 years, and the 101st has been featured prominently in them. And I've been to the Pratt Museum on post where some of that story is told. Will this museum replace that museum?
It sure will. Most of what you see in Pratt Museum now is going to move over and be part of the exhibits and displays in the new museum. But the new museum's about 5 times bigger than Pratt. So we'll be able to show a lot more and display a lot more things that we have in storage right now to, again, really help to bring the history of these units to life. Another big feature of this museum versus Pratt is it'll be easily accessible from off post. So anybody can just drive right into the parking lot. It's on the installation, but on the edge of it, and won't be fenced off. So you won't have to go through the security protocols and all those sorts of things you have to visit the Pratt Museum on post.
Sure, yeah, right now you've got to go in, show them your driver's license, give them proof of insurance and all that. Well, Give us the vital stats on the groundbreaking tomorrow. I'm assuming it's going to take place on or near the site that you just described?
It's going to take place right on the site. In fact, work has already begun, some pre-construction activities, erosion control, things like that. Work will begin immediately after the groundbreaking ceremony, and you're going to see it start to grow over the weeks and months ahead. To the point where this winter you'll see the physical outline of the structure up and erect and the inside work getting done at that point.
That's going to be fun. Retired Major General Brian Winsky, President and CEO of the Fort Campbell Historical Foundation. Thank you very much for taking the time, and I know it's going to be great tomorrow.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, tonight, Nashville's International Airport getting a very special gift that will help them honor the memory of fallen soldiers. Alaska Airlines employees, in partnership with BNA and Atlantic Aviation, delivered a new fallen soldier cart to honor the nation's heroes on their final journey. This is the 16th cart crafted by Alaska Airlines maintenance employees to honor all fallen military members. The cart transports the remains of the fallen with respect and honor to and from an aircraft. The card is available to all airlines at BNA.
Wanted to talk a little bit more about the storms that rolled through today and sharing a few pictures that we've had for the last couple of hours here. I picked out this one in particular just because really interesting to see, of course, the shelf cloud, which is pretty evident. This is from Josie Rappold, by the way, but you can see this sort of ragged cloud that's sort of hanging down along the leading edge of the storm there. That is what we call a fractus cloud. It's kind of cool, or scud, if you will. May have heard that term. Ragged, kind of a ragged cloud here, but really nothing to be too concerned with. They are harmless, but they do look kind of spooky. Here's another one sent in by Kyle B. This is a really cool one here. Again, the shelf cloud, and you can see these ragged clouds here kind of extending. We actually have moisture here that's going down toward the ground, which is why we're seeing this cloud sort of come down out, sort of almost like some fingers coming down towards the surface there. So really neat. Again, these are harmless, but they do look ominous, especially if they are coming right at you. But again, saw a lot of these types of pictures today. Really neat. Looking at that. If you have pictures you'd love to share with us, I'd love to show them. You can share through Facebook, through X, or on Instagram, or you can give me a good old-fashioned email. I'd love to see those pictures and then talk about them on air. We'll talk more about what we can expect as we head towards the weekend. The heat, it'll be with us. That coming up.
Up next, Coach of the Year, how the Vols continue to celebrate their historic season.
And later in the newscast, why the Democratic National Committee is buying billboards to welcome former President Donald Trump to Atlanta.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. Getting a good night's rest is crucial, and some folks have to use melatonin in order to improve their sleep.
In sports tonight, they are still celebrating the Vols' first ever college baseball national championship on Rocky Top, and the guy right behind me here is a big reason for his team's success. Vols head coach Tony Vitello named National Coach of the Year. The American Baseball Coaches Association giving him the nod today. Now, in addition to the national title, Vitello led the Vols to an SEC record 60 wins this season. Never has happened for any team. Also, the fourth conference team to win the SEC regular season title, the SEC tournament title, and the College World Series title all in the same year.
Well, the NHL draft getting underway Friday in Las Vegas, where the Preds have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick has a preview of the big night for the franchise.
The NHL draft kicking off this Friday, and similar to last year, the Preds are expected to make some moves. Here to help us preview the draft night, Chase McKay, Program Director, 102.5 The Game. And Chase, Preds with 4 picks in the first 2 rounds of the draft. And General Manager Barry Trotz came on your show and said on 102.5 The Game that he's already making some phone calls ahead of the big draft night. What do you expect on Friday, and what's the position you expect the Preds to target the most?
Busy Barry, is that what we're going to call him?
Barry.
Yeah, for sure. He came on our station, and he's always very grateful with his time. But I do think the Preds are going to do something. They obviously have to replace Ryan McDonough on defense. They're looking for that partner for Roman Josi. You can't get that with the 22nd pick in the draft. So I think that they're going to be making phone calls, try and get an established guy. I know Brandon Montour is going to be a free agent from the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. He could be an option, and obviously Andrew Brunette is familiar with him. I think defense, as much as people are like, you got to get scoring, they're going to do that. You know, Martin Natchez' name is out there as a potential trade target, but they got to get defense too, because I just think they need more depth at that position, and they need somebody to put alongside Roman Josi.
More depth on defense and potentially some splashy moves. It all goes down Friday for the first round of the draft, where the Preds have number 22 overall. He's Chase McCabe, Program Director, 102.5 The Game. Chase, as always, thanks so much.
Thanks, Jill.
Coming up, we'll talk more about the storms we had today and what we can expect as we head going into another hot weekend.
The government can keep weighing in on social media posts. I'm Matt Gelk.
Making headlines tonight, a win for the White House as the Supreme Court rejects claims related to the Biden administration's contact with social media companies.
That's right. Fox 17 News' Matt Galka now has more on how the High Court views the administration's efforts to essentially control what you see on your feed.
COVID-19 claims, unproven election conspiracies, and violent extremist rhetoric. As those topics, among others, continue to pop up on social media platforms, the government can continue to try and get them taken down or limited. That's the fallout in a Supreme Court decision Wednesday tackling jawboning, when the government steps in to pressure tech companies to moderate user content.
We know throughout history, the government puts immense pressure on media distributors. In the past, it was radio broadcasters and TV broadcasters and newspapers, and today's social media companies.
It was a 6-3 decision that split the conservative justices on the court. The court didn't wade into the First Amendment issues over potential censorship. Instead, the majority determined the states did not have standing to sue the Biden administration. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote the majority opinion. She wrote in part, the plaintiffs fail by and large to link their past social media restrictions to the defendants' communications with the platforms. Critics say the outcome could lead to government overreach in suppressing free speech. A dissent from Justice Samuel Alito called the government pressure unconstitutional as he disagreed with the court not taking up the free speech issue. He wrote, for months, high-ranking government officials placed unrelenting pressure on Facebook to suppress Americans' free speech. Because the court unjustifiably refuses to address this serious threat to the First Amendment, I respectfully dissent. Tech company coalition Chamber of Progress said it was important for the court to determine companies act independently when moderating content.
Even if government voices say we encourage you to take an action, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden that decision has been made by the government.
The ruling means that federal agencies can keep monitoring and flagging potentially harmful posts, especially as they keep warning that election interference is possible heading into November. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
Well, the TSA expects a record number of travelers this upcoming 4th of July weekend, and in New York City, they'll have some extra help getting travelers to their ultimate destinations. New scanners at Newark Liberty International Airport should make going through security checkpoints faster. TSA leaders say the new 3D scanners can help cut down on time lost emptying the contents of your carry-on.
If they see any different anomalies or maybe oversized liquids or something that just does not seem right to them, they're going to go ahead and eject the bag out.
In addition to better detection of prohibited items, the new scanners also allow travelers to leave laptops and electronics inside their carry-ons, which should speed up the screening process.
New tonight, the Democratic National Committee just paid for some billboards to welcome former President Donald Trump, the Republican, to Atlanta. But there's a twist. Of course there is. These 5 billboards will read, I'm quoting here, Donald, welcome to Atlanta for the first time since becoming a convicted felon. Congrats, or whatever. These boards will be placed along the highways that Mr. Trump will most likely be taking to get from the airport in Atlanta to the presidential debate that's going to be on CNN tomorrow. The signs reference Mr. Trump's conviction in the New York hush money trial, where he was found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records.
Well, more on the rain that we had today with these thunderstorms rolling through. It was kind of feast or famine depending on where you were, and it's very typical of a summer pattern for us here. We had a bullseye out to our west. We had some showers and storms this morning as well, adding to that total. Some areas right around the Kentucky Lake area and Tennessee River were anywhere between 4 to 5 inches of rainfall, about 1 inch here in town. And other locations picking up anywhere between a ½ inch up to 1 and even 2 inches of rain. Storm reports, all of these little white circles you see here, those are all wind damage reports. And reports to these little exclamation points are funnel cloud sightings, but again, these are unverified, and given what we had today, this type of setup, it's not really a tornadic setup, but we did have the gustnado that came through, so that is probably that report there, the funnel cloud report out of Davidson County, where it was actually the gustnado that we saw. The good news is the weather is looking much better as we head through the morning hours tomorrow. We'll start with a bit of cloud cover and a stray shower chance for the early morning hours. Temperatures stay right around the low 70s or so, and we'll stay pretty humid too. We are looking at the hot weather to be with us again as we head towards the weekend. Tomorrow, a brief break from that high heat, but it does return as we head towards Friday and into the weekend. Unfortunately, the difference between the heat that we had earlier in the week and what we will see going into the weekend is that we will have the humidity to go along with it this time around. So humidity expected to be pretty high, which will give us higher heat index values. For Friday, the temperature around 96, 106 could be the high heat index value. close to 110 on Saturday as we approach 100 for the actual temperature. And then Sunday, we do begin to drop back a little bit with low 90s, but heat index values will still be up there. And notice too that we are talking about a few pop-up showers and storms. Possible that we could be looking at a few thunderstorms going into Saturday night, early Sunday. So here's what we have going on the next few days. The afternoon hours on Thursday looking much better. May see that stray shower. I'd say east 65 and south of 40 for tomorrow morning. Then we get into the afternoon hours, we should dry out. Going into Thursday night, early Friday, still looking clear at this point. And then going into Friday afternoon, looking dry. I think the model's overdoing the rain just a little bit there. Our eye will be drawn towards this cold front that will approach us as we head towards Saturday. That is going to be the one that brings us another chance for showers, maybe a few pop-up thunderstorms around the area. Smyrna tomorrow around 91, Murfreesboro 90, Nashville sitting at 90 as well as Franklin. We will be looking at highs to stay right around 90 for tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see if we hit 90 or not. It'd break our streak of 90-degree days that we have going on. I'll have to go back and look what our number is right now because we did break that streak last week. But lots of 90-degree weather beyond tomorrow expected through the middle of next week.
Up next, the IRS gets low mark.
In consumer news tonight, taxpayers are more than a little upset about just how hard it is to get anybody on the phone at the IRS when you need help. The Taxpayers Advocate Service says only 31% of calls are getting answered these days. And when it comes to the collections line, that number is less than 20%. The study found out that the average hold times for callers to the IRS is 10 minutes, and that is the average. Some people wait a lot longer. Now, to help deal with the overwhelming number of calls they're getting of late, the IRS recently has hired, get this, an additional 7,000 new representatives, hopefully to help take your call.
In your business news, if you're a fan of Texas Roadhouse bread rolls, you could soon be able to enjoy them right there in the comfort of your own home. A report says Walmart confirmed that the restaurant chain is selling a frozen version of its signature rolls at select stores. The mini rolls are made with the chain's honey cinnamon butter. The rolls should be in all stores here in the next few weeks. Up next, making changes, what owners of the Snapchat app are doing to protect your children from serious crimes.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are partnering with Feed America for the Sinclair Cares Summer Hunger Relief Program. You can donate by scanning the QR code on your screen or go to sinclaircares.com.
Social media platform Snapchat has a new safety feature to help keep your kids safe. The app's latest updates include expanded pop-up warnings to let teenagers know if blocked or reported users attempt to send them messages. The company says that it will also make it harder for strangers to add teens. All new features designed to prevent a scam where criminals convince young users to send explicit photos and then demand money in order to keep the photos a secret.
A Fox 17 recall alert tonight involving Ford trucks and some transmission issues. The automaker says more than 600,000 of their Ford F-150s from 2014 are included in this recall. Ford says the trucks can unexpectedly downshift to first gear, which could cause loss of control, maybe even make their rear wheels lock up. Ford expects to make repairs via a software update later this year.
I'm Jeff Harris in Washington. Gun violence is now a public health crisis. We explain what the U.S. Surgeon General wants done to help prevent more shootings. Coming up.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We began with the calm after a nasty line of thunderstorms that rolled through the mid-state a few hours ago.
Well, Fox 17 News chief meteorologist Katie Morgan here with the latest.
Things are looking much better than they were a few hours ago, but came through quickly, didn't it?
Oh, and it rained hard.
It did. And the good news is we'll be able to sleep soundly tonight. Severe weather won't be an issue anymore. And you can see a lot of the rain is continuing to clear out, but can't completely rule out a couple showers as we head through the overnight hours. And even into early Thursday morning, we may see a stray shower or two. But the good news is storms continue to clear out, and we're left with a few showers. Continue to get a couple great pictures sent in. This one from Kyle B, a shelf cloud with fractus clouds as well. So our shelf cloud is that kind of ominous roll looking cloud here that's on the leading edge, and then these little finger type clouds that kind of extend outward from it. Those are what we call fractus clouds, or scud clouds, another term for it. But again, this is ominous looking right here, but is the leading edge of the severe line of showers and thunderstorms. As far as the radar goes for the for the evening hours tonight, I should say, we will continue to see those showers push east, and we're left with fairly mild overnight. Still looking at wet ground here downtown on Broadway. Temperature sitting at 75. Stray shower or two will be possible for us. 73 our low temperature for tonight. 70 in Lebanon, Murfreesboro right around 70 as well. Coming up, we'll have a look at a few more pictures that you've submitted and talk more about the heat that is headed our way for the weekend.
I don't actually believe that schools have the resources that they need to fix this problem.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, Tennessee state test results are showing alarming numbers. 71% of 8th graders are not proficient in reading, and 66% of 8th graders are not at grade level in math.
Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live tonight at a school in North Nashville after speaking with a parent who is really worried that her daughter isn't ready for high school.
Scott, Megan, we spoke with a parent who has an incoming 9th grade student as a child, and she says that her daughter is not proficient in reading and math and says they've tried getting help, but she's not getting the help that she needs. Now, Tiana Ray says that she tried to get her daughter tutoring, but she says their school tells her they have to pay for it. Fox 17 News also spoke with Alex Guppy, who owns several mathnasiums, which is a math tutoring business. Guppy says that he's seeing students fall behind in math more than ever before, which shows with recent TCAP results, 8th graders are at a 34% proficiency rate in math and also at a 29% proficiency rate in reading.
The gap between where kids are actually at and the skills they have in order to do the work in front of them has widened significantly.
Guppy believes that the pandemic was a big factor because he explains in math, when children fall behind on the fundamentals, it impacts the rest of their career. Now, Guppy says with the teacher-student ratios and the students just being at so many different levels in both math and reading inside the classroom, he says nowadays it's almost impossible to teach and tutor. Reporting live from North Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com or call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
Election security top of mind right now, especially in the race for the White House. Tennessee Secretary of State Trey Hargett recently sent out 14,000 letters across the volunteer state warning that non-citizens will be prosecuted if they vote here. And this threat should be taken seriously. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live downtown at the state capitol with more on the letters and the message some people say they send.
Scott, the penalty for voting illegally is either going to jail or paying a fine. But how many people in Tennessee have been prosecuted in recent years? These numbers on your screen show from the Tennessee Administrative Office of the Courts a low number of convictions. From 2017 to 2022, there were 24 convictions and 2 people cited for misdemeanors. One man who received a letter tells us Fox 17 News the language could be threatening. This is especially true if someone received a letter and doesn't speak English but is a citizen. But state and local officials say it's not meant to intimidate, but to ensure a fair election.
But I think, you know, the key here is that the state chose to do this far enough in advance, especially of the November election, that the individuals that received the letter have plenty of opportunity to figure out exactly how they want to handle it.
The Conservative Heritage Foundation ranks Tennessee tops in the nation for election integrity. The letter, although frightening to some people, did bring others to show documentation, according to Roberts. What is hard to determine is, of the people who received the letter, who is actually eligible or ineligible to vote. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. This topic is what we're talking about on our viewer poll. We asked you, our viewers, are you concerned about election security in Tennessee? 354 votes, and the numbers 60% yes, 40% roughly no. Our thanks to all who voted tonight, and be sure to watch for a new poll question tomorrow.
People need to understand and know about these issues before they go to the polls and vote on it.
In Operation Crime and Justice, community advocates are angry after another incident on a WeGo bus amid a string of violent crimes this past month at the transit center. According to court documents, a man threatened another passenger on a WeGo bus and waved a revolver around. Advocating for safer communities, Ben Cunningham says that we need to fix the problems that already exist before expanding transit services under Mayor Freddie O'Connell's $6.9 billion transportation improvement plan.
The transportation improvement program we've proposed actually has built into it security funding that will increase security presence.
For Freddie O'Connell to just, again, very dismissively and arrogantly say, we'll throw some money at it. Don't you taxpayers worry about this. Move along, taxpayers. There's nothing to see here. Hell yeah, there's something to see here. There's a huge crime problem.
Earlier today, the Regional Transportation Authority endorsed the mayor's Choose How You Move plan.
Tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9, another chapter in a story that we have been tracking here at Fox 17 for months. Repeat criminals who are released with low or no bonds in some cases, only to commit more crimes. After our reporting, changes are on the way. Judges are in Nashville revamping the bond process, and state lawmakers have passed new laws that go into effect the 1st of July. Don't miss Dennis Ferrier's investigation with the very latest on all of this tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9. Tonight, the number of deaths and injuries involving guns continues to grow nationwide.
And as Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris explains, the U.S. Surgeon General is now declaring gun violence a public health crisis.
With this declaration, U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy is calling for sweeping changes across the country when it comes to gun ownership. For example, bans on automatic rifles, universal background checks, and penalties for those who fail to store guns safely. A professor of forensic studies at Florida Gulf Coast and former law enforcement, David Thomas tells us this declaration was a long time coming.
It's a problem that needs to be addressed.
Declaring something as a public health crisis means that it poses a substantial risk to humans, potentially causing a significant number of fatalities. Thomas says gun violence fits that description.
We have kids that are murdering kids on a daily basis, and that needs to be addressed.
But spokesperson for the National Police Association, Betsy Brantner-Smith, tells us she believes this declaration is a little too broad.
Really, we'd like to see the Surgeon General break out gun violence in a little more specific terms.
For example, talking about the prosecution of violent crime.
If we do not punish aberrant behavior, if we do not punish violent crime, it will continue to occur.
And addressing mental health issues.
We just have so many people that have so many mental health issues. And again, we're not talking about how to help them.
Now, along with new regulations, Murthy is also calling for an increase in gun violence research, also for health systems to promote and educate patients about gun safety and proper storage during visits. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
Across the nation, crossing the road getting a little bit safer. According to the Governor's Highway Safety Association, pedestrian deaths went down more than 5% last year. This after the number hit a 40-year high back in 2022 with more than 7,500 pedestrians killed by drivers. Just over 7,300 pedestrians were killed last year, many at night in areas without sidewalks. Experts say it's a step in the right direction, but the number of deaths still higher than before the pandemic.
Cyber threats from Russia and China are top of mind on Capitol Hill.
Experts sounding the alarm tonight about cybersecurity vulnerabilities nationwide as hundreds of jobs to protect our computer networks from hackers go unfilled.
Well, this as the Federal Reserve faced a security threat this week. Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar has more tonight from Washington.
A cyber scare for the nation's financial system. Earlier this week, Russia-based ransomware group Lockbit claimed it obtained 33 terabytes of banking information. Thankfully, their ransom deadline came and went without a massive release of data. The Federal Reserve did not respond to our request for information as of airtime, but Fed Chair Jerome Powell has called cyber attacks the biggest risk for the global financial system, specifically one that shuts down payment processing.
It's day by day. I mean, the attackers are always improving their game, and the defenders have to be improving their game all the time.
That requires filling the more than 500,000 open cybersecurity positions across the U.S. On Capitol Hill, it's being compared to the country's need for troops in World Wars I and II.
We find ourselves in a similar moment today. We need Americans in critical areas like cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and zero trust.
Back then, posters like this helped recruitment. This time, it's more complicated. Some of the main hurdles for filling government cyber jobs: federal cybersecurity pay isn't high enough to compete with the private sector. Federal agencies' preference for four-year degrees over real-world experience, narrowing the pool of job candidates, and federal hiring is a notoriously slow process. Meanwhile, America's adversaries have a head start. According to the FBI, cyber hackers from China outnumber all of the Bureau's cyber personnel by at least 50 to 1.
The PRC has made it clear that it considers every sector that makes our society run fair game in its bid to dominate on the world stage.
The Biden administration recently announced an overhaul of the federal hiring process for technical jobs so that it will be more skills-based and not just focused on degrees. And last year launched an education strategy focused on teaching cyber skills as early as elementary school. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
Summer means a trip to the beach for a lot of folks, and knowing how to navigate the ocean water, like how to recognize and survive a rip tide or a rip current, could save your life. Fox 17 News' Angela Brown tonight with the story.
Deadly days in the water. 7 people died in rip currents over 4 days in Florida. Eric Heighton, the warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Newport.
It's extremely important that you know the forecast before you go to the beach. If it's a red flag day, you really shouldn't be in the water.
Watching these tragedies unfold is Karen Cohn, a Connecticut mom living with the pain of losing her child in the water.
We lost our 6-year-old son, Zachary, in a pool drain entrapment in our backyard pool.
Loss that led Karen and her husband to start the Zach Foundation, partnering with the Boys and Girls Club.
We have worked with them to try and target the populations that have the highest drowning rates.
Running Zach camps for young children nationwide, teaching water safety basics, including what to do in a rip current.
You're going to swim parallel to shore and not swim against those rip tides.
Noah Sy-Jinks describes how to escape a rip current, stay afloat, yell for help, swim parallel to the shore, do not exhaust yourself fighting the current. Karen has one more piece of advice.
What we're trying to encourage families is to make sure that when they go to open water, that they are swimming where lifeguards are located.
The latest numbers from the National Weather Service says that 19 people have died due to rip currents this year, and roughly 100 people drown from rip currents each year, according to the U.S. Life Saving Association. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
Pretty active night here, and the good news is it is looking quiet as we head through the overnight, so you can sleep soundly. Still may hear some rain, but the thunderstorms and the severe weather is done with here. Kind of a bit of fog kind of taken over downtown here, so wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of that early on. Eventually we will see things clear out, leaving us with a nice Thursday afternoon. And we take a look here for the day on Thursday. We clear out with mainly sunny skies. We're also looking at a brief break from the high heat, but unfortunately it is not going to last long, as I see more of it returning just in time for the weekend. Future track for the remainder of tonight, keep some of that cloud cover around, maybe a bit of patchy fog with a stray shower through early Thursday morning. Notice though, after 9 a.m. we're starting to see that cloud cover clear out. We're left with a pretty nice afternoon. It'll still feel a tad on the muggy side for tomorrow, and then oppressive, unfortunately, as we head towards the weekend. We're going to be adding in a few shower chances to go along with it for Saturday and Sunday, and then a few pop-ups into early to mid next week. 78 at 10 o'clock in the morning, up to about 87 by 2, and hovering in those upper 80s for the later half of the day. Again, all the while looking at sunshine for the afternoon hours. I mentioned the stickiness. We will be looking at some oppressive weather here for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So along with those temperatures that'll be on the rise, the humidity and the heat index, unfortunately, will be on the rise as well. And that's going to be the difference between what we had earlier in the week with the high heat. It wasn't as humid as it looks to be as we head towards the weekend. So temperature around 96 will feel like 106, a temperature of 98 feeling close to 110, and 104 for Sunday, even though temperatures drop back to about 92. Again, also adding in a few of those showers and thunderstorms for both Saturday and Sunday. So for tonight, those showers are clearing out. We're left with temperatures around 72 for the overnight hours. Going into tomorrow, right around 90 degrees, which is average for this time of year. So these mid to upper 90s that we've been experiencing for quite a while, that's all well above average for this time of year. So 90 is our actual average high. Still feeling humid with lots of sunshine around, and again, we'll look at higher heat to return as we head towards the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all looking quite toasty. I want to note too, these overnight lows in the mid 70s, maybe some upper 70s here, especially if we have cloud cover at night. That's really where we run into problems here. We talk about the high heat in the afternoon. We can all retreat and indoors to the air conditioning. But overnight, the air conditioners don't get a ton of relief, and neither does anyone else. It has to be out throughout the overnight hours. It is quite warm, even in the overnight. So we don't get a nice reset for the next day. It already starts hot. Temperatures will cool a little bit going into Monday next week.
Up next, Coach of the Year, how the Vols continue to celebrate their historic season.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting. Tennessee Vols still celebrating their first ever baseball national championship tonight. One of the big reasons for their success, their head coach, the guy right there behind me. And today, the Vols head coach Tony Vitello was named the National Coach of the Year. Quite an honor. The American Baseball Coaches Association giving him the nod. Now, on top of leading the Vols to their first ever national title, Vitello also helped the team set the single-season record for wins with 60 in the SEC, making his team the first in the conference to reach that 60-win mark. The Vols also became the fourth conference team to win the SEC regular season title, the SEC Conference Tournament title, and the College World Series title, all in the same year.
The NHL draft getting underway Friday in Las Vegas, where the Preds have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick has a preview of the big night for the franchise.
The NHL draft kicking off this Friday, and similar to last year, the Preds are expected to make some moves. Here to help us preview the draft night, Chase McKay, Program Director, 102.5 The Game, and Chase, Preds with 4 picks in the first 2 rounds of the draft. And General Manager Barry Trotz came on your show and said on 102.5 The Game that he's already making some phone calls ahead of the big draft night. What do you expect on Friday, and what's the position you expect the Preds to target the most?
Busy Barry, is that what we're going to call him?
Barry.
Yeah, for sure. He came on our station, and he's always very grateful with his time. But I do think the Preds are going to do something. They obviously have to replace Ryan McDonough on defense. They're looking for that partner for Roman Josi. You can't get that with the 22nd pick in the draft. So I think that they're going to be making phone calls, try and get an established guy. I know Brandon Montour is going to be a free agent from the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. He could be an option, and obviously Andrew Brunette is familiar with him. I think defense, as much as people are like, you got to get scoring, they're going to do that. You know, Martin Natchez' name is out there as a potential trade target, but they got to get defense too, because I just think they need more depth at that position, and they need somebody to put alongside Roman Josi.
More depth on defense and potentially some splashy moves. It all goes down Friday for the first round of the draft, where the Preds have number 22 overall. He's Chase McCabe, Program Director, 102.5 The Game. Chase.
In your health news tonight, researchers are discovering new ways to help keep your knees strong.
Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus tonight with 4 things you need to know.
Hey there, hello to you. From what you eat to how you fight arthritis, we have some new things to tell you today about your knee health.
The first is that you can get knee replacements now in both knees pretty quickly if needed.
So I'm 12 weeks out on the first knee and 5 weeks on the second knee.
That's what Pia Rader did, because the second thing to know about knee health is that there's new technology to let you know how well you're recovering after knee joint replacement surgery.
They add a little device down at the base of the tibial stem.
As this video provided by Zimmer Biomet shows, the Persona IQ has a small smart stem extension inside it. It captures information and transmits it to you and your doctor to help keep you informed about recovery.
We can see both, step counts, how many steps you're taking in a day, how your walking pattern is. You can report pain levels, and that gets reported directly to me if we need to, so we can adjust your medications. And that lets us see where we are in terms of recovery.
Third thing to know is if you are trying to prevent knee problems from osteoarthritis, soup might help, especially if it's made from broccoli. A small preprint study found those who ate broccoli soup for 12 weeks saw a more than 3-point reduction on an arthritis index in knee pain compared to the 0.61 increase in the placebo group. More studies are needed to find out why. Finally, fourth thing to know is that for every 1 pound you lose, you take 4 pounds of pressure off your knees in every step. A physical therapist can help you build up the muscles around your knees if pain is getting in the way of a good fitness program for weight loss.
So obviously, starting off slow. So don't go out and walk a 5K if you haven't walked all winter long. And kind of working your way into those kind of things, making sure you're doing some stretches, strengthening through some of your key muscles here, your quads, your glutes, doing some of your basic exercises like that to help strengthen the knees beforehand can help as well.
Now, you can self-refer if you think you might benefit from time or a visit with a physical therapist. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
My big question is, okay, it rained. Does that mean it's cooler tomorrow or not?
It'll be a little